Have you ever wondered how we got from small bands of humans struggling to survive to building massive pyramids and sprawling cities? The secret isn't just about getting smarter or having better tools. It's about how we learn to work together. This is the story of organized work, the invisible engine that has powered human civilization from its very first dawn. For tens of thousands of years, our ancestors lived in small, nomadic groups. Life was a constant battle for survival against predators, the elements, and starvation. In T's world, there was no 9 to 5, no job titles, no corner office. There was only the work that needed to be done, day in and day out, to see the next sunrise. And the only way to get it done was by organizing. Let's explore how our earliest ancestors laid the foundation for the world of work we know today. In the earliest hunter-gatherer societies, the concept of a job didn't exist, but the concept of roles certainly did. This was the first, most basic form of organized work. The division of labor. This division wasn't decided in a meeting. It was a practical system that evolved naturally, often along the lines of gender and age. Generally, men took on the high-risk, high-reward task of hunting large game. This required physical strength, endurance for long treks, and the ability to coordinate in a group to track and bring down powerful animals. The success of a hunt meant a massive influx of protein and fat, crucial for the group's survival. Meanwhile, women typically focused on gathering. This was by no means a lesser task. Gathering provided the stable, reliable bulk of the group's diet. They collected fruits, nuts, roots, and insects, a steady food source that cushioned the group against the frequent failures of the hunt. This work required immense knowledge of the local environment, knowing which plants were edible, which were medicinal, and which were poisonous, and knowing when and where to find them. Beyond hunting and gathering, other crucial tasks were also divided. The elderly, with their lifetimes of accumulated knowledge, were the group's living libraries. They guided decisions, taught younger generations essential skills, and cared for the children. The children, in turn, learned by observing and participating in simpler tasks, preparing them for their future roles. This division of labor wasn't about hierarchy, it was about efficiency. By having different members focus on different tasks, the group as a whole was far more resilient and successful. Everyone had a vital role to play, and the survival of the group depended on each person fulfilling their part of the collective effort. This simple but effective system was the first major step in humanity's journey toward complex organization. For millennia, the hunter-gatherer lifestyle defined human existence. But around 10,000 BC, a revolution began to unfold, one that would completely reshape society and the very nature of work. This was the agricultural revolution. Humans learned to domesticate plants and animals, transitioning from a nomadic life of chasing food to a settled one of producing it. This shift from hunting and gathering to farming had profound consequences. Suddenly, we weren't just living on the land, we were shaping it. Agriculture created a food surplus for the first time in human history. A single farmer could produce enough food to feed not just their own family, but many others as well. This surplus was the key that unlocked a new era of work. Specialization. With a stable food supply, not everyone had to be a food producer anymore. This freed up individuals to develop other skills and pursue different kinds of work. A person with a knack for working with clay could become a full-time potter, trading their pots for grain. Someone skilled in shaping wood could become a carpenter, and a person adept at working with metal could become a blacksmith. These weren't just hobbies. There were new professions, specialized roles that served the growing needs of the community. Artisans, builders, weavers, and tool makers emerged, each honing their craft to a level of skill impossible when everyone had to split their time finding food. This specialization was a feedback loop of innovation. As artisans got better, they created better tools. A better plow meant a farmer could cultivate more land, generating an even larger surplus. Better pottery meant food could be stored more effectively. Better weapons made the settlement more secure. This era saw the birth of professions that went beyond just making things. With larger, settled populations, new social needs arose. We saw the emergence of leaders and administrators to manage the surplus, organize community projects, and settle disputes. Spiritual leaders, or priests, appeared, guiding the community's relationship with the gods who they believed controlled the harvests. The agricultural revolution didn't just change how we got our food, it fundamentally rewired our societies and laid the groundwork for the complex world of specialized professions we live in today. With the rise of agriculture and specialized labor, human settlements grew from small villages into bustling towns, and eventually, the first cities. This explosion in population and complexity presented a new set of challenges and opportunities, demanding a level of organization never seen before. It was no longer enough to just divide tasks. Now, humanity had to manage massive, complex projects that could span generations. Think about the great irrigation systems of Mesopotamia. To tame the Tigris and Euphrates rivers and turn arid land into a fertile breadbasket required incredible coordination. You needed surveyors to plan the canals, legions of laborers to dig them, and administrators to manage the distribution of water. No single person or small group could do this. It required a centralized authority, a leadership structure that could mobilize and direct the labor of thousands. This was organized work on a monumental scale. And then there are the pyramids of Egypt, or the ziggurats of Sumer. These weren't just impressive buildings, they were staggering logistical feats. Quarrying massive stones, transporting them over long distances, and then lifting them into place with precision required meticulous planning, advanced engineering, and a highly disciplined workforce. We see accountants keeping detailed records on clay tablets, tracking rations for workers. We see overseers directing teams, each with a specific task. We see architects drawing up blueprints. This was project management at its most ancient and awe-inspiring. The formation of cities, states, and empires was directly tied to this ability. A well-organized state could field a powerful army, collect taxes efficiently, and build infrastructure that promoted trade and prosperity. Efficient work organization became a measure of a civilization's power and sophistication. It was the engine that built the roads of Rome, the Great Wall of China, and the aqueducts that supplied water to growing urban centers. In essence, the leap from small farming villages to great empires was a leap in organizational capacity. By learning how to coordinate the efforts of thousands of specialized workers towards a common goal, our ancestors didn't just build structures of stone and mud, they built the very foundations of civilization itself. As we look back at the journey from the simple division of labor and hunter-gatherer bands to the complex project management of the first empires, a clear pattern emerges. The story of human progress is inextricably linked to the story of how we organize work. Those early systems, born out of necessity, were not primitive footnotes in history. They were the essential building blocks for everything that followed. The division of labor taught us the power of focus and efficiency. The specialization that blossomed with agriculture showed us that by allowing individuals to master a craft, the entire community benefits from higher quality goods and services and faster innovation. The grand projects of the first civilizations demonstrated that with leadership and coordination, humanity could achieve things that were previously unimaginable, literally reshaping the world to suit its needs. This legacy is all around us. The modern global economy, with its incredibly intricate supply chains and highly specialized professions, is the direct descendant of these early structures. Your job, my job, every job exists within a vast web of interdependence that has its roots in the first hunter who shared his catch and the first farmer who traded grain for a clay pot. The principles of organization, management, and collaboration that were forged in the ancient world are still the principles that drive our companies, build our cities, and send missions to explore other planets. So, the next time you go to work, take a moment to reflect. You are participating in a tradition that is tens of thousands of years old. You are a part of the long, unbroken chain of organized human effort that has lifted our species from surviving to thriving and continues to shape the future of our world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into the history of work interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into how our world came to be. Let me know in the comments what aspect of ancient work you find most fascinating. See you in the next video.